your family there at 620 for a long time. And Chris Thomas too. I started listening to sports radio when I was, probably in my early teenage years, and I got to hear Chris Thomas. And my motivation is from Jim Rome. So I used to listen to Romey on 620, and then following Rome would be the big dog. So I would listen to Steve. And now with Steve, God rest his soul, he passed away. And you guys got moved on to the 12 to 3, which I love you guys. I get to listen to you at work every once in a while. I work at a bank, and I get to listen to the radio. I don't deal with customers, so I get to listen. I'm on the computer most of my day, so I get to listen to your show a lot. And I listen to you guys. Used to listen to you guys on the weekends. I used to work for Bite Squad, a food delivery service, and I would listen to you guys while I was out driving. And when I heard that you guys had gotten the mid-afternoon, I'm like, yes, I get to listen to these guys for 3 hours during the week. I don't have to wait till Saturday. I do listen to Ronnie and T-Crafts in the morning, and I do listen to Ron and Ian in the afternoon on my way home. Again, me personally, I would much rather be a radio guy than TV. I'm not that I'm afraid of being in front of the camera, but I'd rather be on the radio than a TV person. That's just me. I'd rather be a play-by-play guy.
A lot more opportunity. Well, yeah, that's what I really want to do as well. Actually, I've done some. I need more experience, but yeah, it's as much as I love radio, play-by-play is kind of the ultimate goal for me. But I'm about out of time for the night. Right. But we can do this again if you'd like.
I appreciate you, Pat, for joining me, guys. This is Pat Donovan. He's on the Pat Aaron Show on WDAE here in Tampa Bay, 620. Listen to his show, guys. The show is freaking cool. Pat, thank you for joining me again. I will definitely get in contact with you. We can do this again in the future.
All right, man. No problem. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. All right, guys. That was Pat Donovan on the line there. That was pretty cool to have him come on and talk to me. That was pretty cool. Let me get to my man. Lewis here.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going tonight?
Hey, and Braden. Well, it's going to get hot around here, so, oh, boy.
It's not raining up there, is it?
No, unlike last night where this time it was a disaster area.
Yeah, it was thunder and lightning here last night at about 9 o'clock at night. It was, it's been on and off today, too, raining down here in Florida.
Yeah, we were looking for watching the Yankee game when that got canceled right away. So I'm like, okay, I know we're in trouble now.
So what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, and we still have a considerable lead over Tampa Bay. There's a lot of people thinking, oh, is it possible the Yankees can miss the playoffs? Like, come on, really? Look, a 5-game lead, okay, it may not sound like much, but you're dealing with the Yankees here, and they are going to have an offensive explosion. I mean, look at what we had. Even with Encarnacion that came in, I mean, that's going to add more offense to the Yankee lineup. There's no way they're going to blow this lead. Not a chance.
Well, I've been hearing rumors, Lewis, too. They're going to go get Madison Bumgarner. Is that kind of
no? It's not really possible because I've heard things like, oh, he's not going to travel 3,000 miles to go play baseball. He's going to be more like for one of the Western teams. So I think it's a very long shot that Madison Square Garden, Bumgarner would come here.
Okay. I mean, I'm currently now sitting in front of my TV watching the Rays Yankee game right now. I know the Yankees won 6-2 earlier, the afternoon game. This is the makeup for yesterday's game. So, and I know the Rays had the bases loaded with nobody out on top of the first and didn't score any runs. They're up 1-0 right now. They're just showing CC Sabathia too. He seems to be the Rays.
You want to know something interesting? That this week, the Greek Freak went to the Yankee Stadium. He took some batting cage practices. He bombed out. He said, I'm glad I don't play baseball because I'd be a terrible player. He was there to sign his sneakers, and guess who got an autographed pair of it?
CC.
No, me. Yes, CC Sabathia.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. That's cool. Well, I mean, so speaking of Giannis, he's not going to leave Milwaukee, right? I mean, I know he's coming up.
No, not at all.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that because I think they can build the team around him in Milwaukee. I really honestly do. I was talking to talk to Kevin on their show on Monday, and I know they were talking about that. I'm like, I would hate to see him leave Milwaukee and go try to make a super team with somebody else. So I would hope that he stays put in Milwaukee for a long time.
Will.
Yeah.
He will. I mean, they even had a Greek Freak Day in Milwaukee not that long ago to celebrate his MVP award.
Well, and so are you surprised he won the MVP? Because I thought it was going to be James Harden. I'll be honest with you.
If Harden would have made the finals, yes, he would have got MVP. But no.
And so, do you think that him and Russell Westbrook are going to work out well in Houston with D'Antoni as their head coach? That's a bad combination.
I'm not a D'Antoni fan at all. I mean, he messed up the Knicks pretty badly. Although Harden and Westbrook have worked together before, so who's to say it can't work out again?
Correct. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And as I asked Kevin and Dana on Monday, I mean, and I'll get your opinion too, Lewis. Is Chris Paul just a bad teammate that no one wants to play with him? Because every time he seems to go to a team and he's there for a little bit, then all of a sudden he's traded or no one wants to play with him. Everyone wants to be traded out of there. Is it him? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I've wondered that myself. I'm like, is there really such a thing as a taboo player? I mean, if there is, he might be the prime candidate.
Yeah.
There's got to be something you don't like about him.
Well, and the bad thing is, Lewis, as he gets older, it makes him he's making himself look bad. I mean, as he gets older, he's not some young rookie, who has years that he can say, oh, I can, shed the bad boy, mentality. He's up there in age. So, I mean, he's not – I mean, I know he wants to be on a team to win a ring. Obviously, that's everyone's goal as an athlete is to win a championship. And some people get lucky, or I shouldn't say lucky. Some people just are in the right spot. Michael had 6 championships, and then you got a guy like Patrick Ewing who couldn't win one. Charles Barkley couldn't win one. I mean, there have been a bunch of great players that have never won. I mean, in the NFL, Jim Kelly never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
No.
So, I mean, it's, then there are players like Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson have a ring, and that just blows my mind that those two quarterbacks have a ring and Marino and Kelly don't. Nothing against those guys. It's just weird, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little weird for me too.
So how do you see the Rangers doing this year? Hockey's a couple months away from kicking off here. How do you see the Rangers?
If this draft pick is good, he is, I think the Rangers can have a legitimate chance. Of course, they're making a big thing about the Devils draft pick, which is number 1, and they missed the playoffs last year. They did not have a great season at all. But then again, their star player Taylor Hall had major injuries, and I think that was a key part of it. So if they could, Hughes, I think his name is, if he's all the hype that he says he is and can do the job, I think we're going to see some competitive teams in the East, especially in that division.
And I mean, is the tail of the tape running out on Lundqvist, or do you guys think that is it time to draft his replacement?
Clock is ticking on Lundqvist. Clock is ticking.
Okay. I mean, that's my opinion too. I mean, I know he, when they drafted him and he had those great years and he was the king and they were a great franchise. And I mean, after a while, that position, especially in being a goaltender, you got to get young sooner or later in that position. Oh, yeah. All the top teams have a young guy in the net. So, I mean, the Blues, they brought in their backup goalie because Jake Allen was their starter, and then he's out. So they brought that kid in. They made a coaching change, and they won the Stanley Cup. So I think, again, after a while, I have to say I agree with you. I think time is ticking for Lundqvist as far as being the goalie there for the Rangers. I know time seems to be – but I agree with you. I think you're going to, again, see, I think the Devils and the Rangers both are in that what they call a rebuilding year. So I don't if they do well, I think it'll be a surprise, I guess, is how you can look at it. But then on the flip side, they could surprise a lot of people. Like I said,
they could.
We start playing games, anyone can win because, again, I don't think anyone had the St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup because, as you know, they were in last place in January. So anything can happen. I mean, that's just, anything, miracles happen in every aspect of life. So anything can happen, so we just have to sit back and wait and see what goes down, this year.
I mean, because if you look at what it was back in December, I mean, the Sabres were the highest team in the NHL. They had more points, the fastest, 30 points in league history at the end of December, and they just fell off like a rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden, the Blues came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, and then you look at my team, the Lightning, where we were the best team in the league, went into the first round and got swept. So who would have thought? And the funny thing is, we were up 3-0 in the first period of game one, and that was it.
What did you do?
The bottom fell out. So
obviously,
yeah. I mean, so anything can happen. So with training camp getting ready to start, how do you see your Jets doing this year?
Well, you know what? With Gronkowski out of the picture, I think it's going to be a little bit better for us. Of course, it's depending on what Darnold does. He may allow rookie mistakes last year that cost us our games. But I think now that he's got that 1 year behind him, the nightmare season, I think maybe there's room for improvement. I think we can have a legitimate chance of doing well in the division this year.
Okay. And you think that Le'Veon Bell will do
well? That's another story. I mean, he's been out a year, and I hope that year didn't cost him a step. I mean, he's not that young either anymore, so we have to wait and see what he does. Now, that 1 year out of the league, I think it really costs you sometimes.
So with the AFC East, so who's going to be the cellar dweller this year? Is it Buffalo or Miami?
Miami.
Okay. Because I've read a lot of articles about the AFC East. Again, you know that I'm a Patriots fan. But I have a lot of them saying it's Buffalo. That they think the Bills are not going to do that well this year. That they're one of the worst teams out there right now. And I hate to say that because, again, growing up, I saw the Bills play here against the Giants Super Bowl 25 when Norwood missed that field goal. I watched that game live on TV, and at the time, you kind of feel bad for Bills fans. I guess if you go there 4 years in a row and you can't win one, after a while, you got to say, what the heck is going on? What are we doing wrong? But I think them in Minnesota because the Vikings didn't win one either, and they've been there 4 times too, and they couldn't win one either.
Right, but not 4 straight.
Not 4 straight, correct. Not 4 straight. So, I mean, and I think both of those teams are cursed, to be honest with you. I think both of them are cursed.
Yeah. A lot of people could say the Jets being cursed, too.
Yeah. Well, they've been up and down, they had Joe. I mean, he wanted, he called out the Colts. I remember I watched a lot of, Joe Namath was a great quarterback, and the Jets, beat the Patriots a few years there. They got the AFC Championship game, and they were there, and they just couldn't win it when it came down to it. I will say this, Louis. I'm looking forward to seeing him in those old school, what I grew up watching the Jets playing that old green and with the Jets written across the helmet in white, not the NY logo. I like that the logo they have now better than the one that they did previously. So I'm looking forward to seeing them wearing those new jerseys next year.
The first preseason game was exactly 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So we're right around the dang corner. Great.
Yes, we are. Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm a huge football fan, so I can't wait. Especially Saturday